Good afternoon, everybody, or morning, or night, what have you. I am super excited to make this video because, on a personal note, it was actually my birthday this past week, and it was like one of the most celebrated birthdays of my life, which is very nice, even if a lot of it had to be virtual, and I'm in another state from a lot of my loved ones. But it was just really, really nice. I had some nice social distant dinners and lunches, and I played video games with my siblings, which was really fun. Stayed up late, probably later than I should have, but I'm really, really excited to make this video because one of my very, very dear friends conspired with pretty much like the best garden center in town slash that I've ever seen in my life, and she got me a gift card sent out by them, which when I saw it in the mail that it was this garden center, I started shaking with excitement because I was like, how did they even know my birthday? I haven't made an account with them yet because last time I shopped there was just so many possibilities, and I was still in my rental because I hadn't finished closing on this house, so I was trying to refrain from having even more stuff to lug around and just already start hoarding plants. So like I said, I was like, how do they even know it was my birthday? And then I opened up the card and it was from like my best friend in Texas, and I just thought it was the sweetest thing. And so, I'm being joined by my little Coco Chanel. I was wondering when she was gonna make her debut as the star of this channel. Her sister's right there, but they're being a little bit camera shy. Actually, she's joining right now, so y'all are actually being blessed today with my two girls. These are my very spoiled little Coco Chanel and Majora Dior. They are wonderful. They are my everything. But anyways, yeah, I'm really excited because I got a plant with this gift card that I was previously really dreaming about, and I actually found it in Austin and it was so expensive, so I went home to sleep on it and I slept on it for a long time, and finally like a week later I rushed back to the nursery and literally I saw the specimen that I wanted, the last one left and the only one that was there even when I was there previously, and it was in this woman's cart. And I had never been like, oh my gosh, I should just like take something out of someone's cart and run, but I had thought about it, I'm not gonna lie. But of course I didn't, and good thing I didn't because honestly it was really expensive there in Texas, as are most plants that are kind of more common here in Florida, you know, given the conditions and the abundance of nurseries over here. So I was able to find this plant for 1/8 of the price of what I would have paid in Texas for, I'm not sure if it's the exact mutation of that species, but it is like the same coloring and stuff, so, or you know, the form. So I'm super excited to debut that I have here with me a little, they call it an Alocasia saurokensis, or more commonly known as a Yucatan princess. And you can tell that it has these little almost like chocolate stems with like burgundy, almost black patent leather leaves. And it is just so crazy. I have just been so excited. I haven't even really shown and taken a proper picture yet to show my best friend, because I don't even know why. I'm just so excited. I did get another plant too that I'll talk about in just a bit, but I wanted to start already going more into the plant since this has already been a little bit of a personal spiel. And if you hear some kisses and maybe a little bit of toy playing, it's because my girls are in the room for the first time that I've made a video. Usually they're taking a little siesta while I am making a video. But as for the Yucatan princess, which is what this plant is more commonly known as, or the common name is, my girls like to get tucked in when they're going for a nap. It enjoys part sun and its more thriving climate are in zones 9 through 11, so it's a rather subtropical plant. Like technically it, you know, the Austin, Texas, where I used to live, is outside of that zone, But you know, you can always kind of blur the lines a little bit of where you're going to grow it, as long as you kind of give it the more specific microclimate conditions that it would appreciate. And on the tag on this one, it says that it could grow up to 8 feet tall, which would be amazing to see one day, by 5 feet wide. And you can use your typical garden soil as long as it's pretty well draining, because you don't want the soil to be soggy. This is one of those plants that does not appreciate the most wet of feet, as they would say. But a nice moist soil that, you know, is a little bit wet to the touch, but not just excessively having like water on the top, would be really good. And you can actually kind of tell, as with most elephant ears, which I didn't know before because it wasn't really ever my kind of issue, but one of my friends that I had given one of my elephant ears when I had left Texas had shown me that if you overwater them, they actually kind of start to perspire, or like kind of start to drip the excess water from their leaves, which if you actually see the little silicone mat that I have it in, I had gotten this when it was just watered from the nursery, and I brought it home and it was actually perspiring a little bit. I cannot take it. My girls are so cute right now. But I just think it's so crazy that, one, I found it and it's just such a thriving specimen. Like, I can see that there are like there's like a main stalk in there with like 3 or 4 little babies, and the roots are already coming out through the bottom, so it's probably pretty ripe for repotting already. And it has a flower, like a little spadix and everything, so it is just such a beautiful specimen, and I can't believe that I got it. Like, when I saw it, because I was already touring the whole nursery, and I was already, like, you can ask my friend because I was texting her, I was so grateful for the gift card, first of all, and then to have taken some time to allow myself to go through the whole nursery, and just like every little corner and behind every plant there's like another wonderful plant, and they even tuck in like benches and chairs for you to kind of enjoy the ambiance, and there's like a natural springs in that nursery. It was just so wonderful. I was so excited, and I was even texting my mother too, like, I'm so excited, I'm shaking, and I'm pretty much like on the verge of tears. So that was really, really nice of her to send me that gift card and to take the time out of my day and such to be able to go and enjoy the garden center. And all the staff were wonderful. But commercially, this is propagated through tissue culture, which I believe is still kind of a relatively new thing, but given the amount of babies and how well the roots are right now, I'm actually going to try to divide mine and see if I'll have success that way. But they usually propagate through tissue culture, at least commercially, to try to avoid just like any infections through the roots or where you divide it up at. But since I found... Anyways, sorry I got interrupted by a quick call. Since I found it so inexpensively, I'm going to go ahead and try to divide it up and see if I can get these babies to grow healthy and kind of get, I guess, more bang for my buck, even though I didn't spend that much still, for this wonderful Yucatan princess elephant ear. And moving on to another plant that I bought on my gift card, which, mind you, I'm saving kind of the bulk of my gift card, because in that nursery, I'm already getting so excited, but in that nursery they have a bunch of proven winner plants, and they have like every shade of Supertunia that I want, like the bubblegum pink one, and the one that's white with just a little bit of pastel pink in the inside, and some lavender colored ones. So I am super excited to wait a few weeks or a couple months for when those babies, which I honestly would have bought already if they would have let me, to be able to purchase those. But my second plant, and some of y'all are gonna die out of the cuteness slash maybe laugh because it's so small, but I got a little fairy sized, like for a fairy garden, Peperomia obtusifolia variegata, and this I really enjoy because it kind of reminds me of like the different variations of pothos, and honestly, upon first sight, I kind of do confuse the pothos and the peperomia before I get a little bit closer and kind of see the more hardier stems. Though mind you, here in Florida, I've seen these pothos that start to vine up things with stems that, stems and such that are just as wide as my thumb. So these pothos here get crazy. But anyways, back to this peperomia. The way that I can tell the difference is that they definitely have a thicker leaf structure, and they're just more upright. And so this Peperomia obtusifolia, they also call it the baby rubber plant, which is pretty appropriate for its name. It does feel rather rubbery, and they do stay rather small as compared to like their cousins, the like rubber plant or the Ficus elastica, which I've seen here in Florida grow bigger than people's houses. So that's really crazy to me. But as far as this little baby here, they get to about 7.5 to 12 inches in height, or about 20 to 30 centimeters for my non-American watchers, which, hello, that would be wonderful to have people across the pond, or just not Americans, period. But they are native to here in the Americas and the Caribbean, specifically Florida and Mexico, along with the Caribbean, like I was saying. And they do enjoy kind of an average / minimum temperature of about like 65 to 75. And of course here in Florida, or at least in my part, as that's the most of Florida, like honestly 70, 75 is pretty much the minimum temperature that we have, getting as high as about 90 here with the coastal breeze and such. But they do really enjoy humidity, which is probably why they're thriving so much here. But they can also tolerate the lack of humidity. Like, they are a good house and office plant because they're really not that picky. And another just tidbit is that I also consider these as good plants for beginners because they kind of start to talk to you. You see how they're really firm? How this little plant is really firm right now? Well, once it starts getting watery, you'll notice, once it starts needing water, you'll start to notice that it kind of starts to droop just ever so slightly. And something that I've learned from my abundance of YouTube watching, and this is actually, I learned this from Nick Pileggi, or Pileggi, I'm not particularly sure how to say his last name, but he kind of taught me the taco test, which is you get one of these leaves and kind of try to fold it up like a taco. And you can see that these, like this one's giving me some like resilience. Like if I try to fold it up, it's not like folding up, it's only going like that. It's not going completely closed. So if it was to be very easily folded and kind of fold up like a taco, that would be an indicator that it really should be watered. And my preferred method of watering these is actually through bottom watering, because these are another plant that, yes, they like the humidity, but they don't like soggy feet and just overwatering. So I usually get me a little saucer, or just a little, I have some like hard plastic kind of saucers / bowls that I kind of fit a lot of my various size pots that I put underneath with just some, usually kind of, I have a reverse osmosis filter on my sink that I like to use for a lot of my plants, the bulk of my plants if I can, so that they're not dealing with the harsh minerals that some of our waters, like our municipality water, has. So I like to bottom water this one so that it just drinks up as much as it needs, and there's not really that much of a risk of overwatering and root rot. Another tidbit is that I like to keep this in an appropriately sized pot. So you might think this is particularly tiny, like this pot's not even as big as or as tall as my thumb, but this is kind of probably still a recent propagation of like a bigger plant. So I just like to keep it in an appropriately sized pot because these don't particularly mind being root bound or just kind of snug with their pot. So if you would excuse me just 1 second. I loved iced coffee, which to me is just barely colder than room temperature coffee because I don't like to put much ice in my coffee. But anyways, I did want to make sure that I'm shouting out Nick Pileggi because he loves Peperomia, and I really do go to him for a lot of my knowledge regarding them. And I just think that taco test tidbit is just wonderful. So I also, again, really want to thank my dear friend, and they know who they are, for sending me that gift card. I was really expecting just a letter in the mail, and letters are just as heartfelt, if maybe not even more than it. I mean, they're just really heartfelt, but to get a gift card from somewhere that I knew was, that they knew was really going to be appreciated given my personality and interest, I was bouncing off the walls as soon as I got it. Like, I told my roommate and my mom and my roommate's mom, and I wanted to go immediately down to the garden center, but it was like already almost 4 o'clock, which is like the heat of the day over here pretty much, and they close at 5, and I knew that I wanted to spend hours there. So believe it or not, I slept on it and waited till the next day, even as excited as I was. So yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video to say thank you so much to my friend. Thank y'all for watching. I hope that y'all are able to find some wonderful plants like this that kind of get you just as excited. Feel free to share some of your favorite plants or what makes you excited, because I'm sure I may have had them already or would love to experience them as well if you tell me why you love them. So y'all have a really nice day. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.